Om Yogis, welcome to this practice where, for me, this is like an emergency practice for those times where I need to counterpose my life. Quite often, if I put myself under too much stress, my upper body goes into spasm in several different places at once. And so to counter this, I use this like emergency sequence, which is great for my body, but if it doesn't feel good for you at any point, feel really welcome to adjust as you need to. I get a lot of tension in my chest, and this sequence really helps if I've done too much, if I've gone too far, or if I'm teetering on the edge of my limits, my stamina, or even my sanity. So for this practice, lovelies, we will need a bolster, and we'll need 2 blocks, and if you've got a stack of blankets, then that's great, and also a quiet room. So let's lie back over the bolster. We're going to prop the bolster over the 2 blocks, so prop it up onto 2 blocks. If you've got a small bolster, make it bigger with blankets if you need to. So you can comfortably lie back against it with your feet on the mat and your knees knocking in. Bring a blanket behind your head to act as a pillow. So just for this moment, the head is slightly raised. And your palms roll towards the ceiling, so your elbows hang heavy. And this creates a nice rotation in the shoulders, opening through the fronts of the shoulders and gently opening the chest. Allow gravity to assist the pose. Let your hips release to the floor as you deepen your breath. Just breathe into any tight or sticky areas that you might find in there to create space. If you haven't done so already, close your eyes, take the awareness in. Exhaling, relax as much as you can. Heavy through your elbows. Observing rather than arguing with tension. Breathe into tension. Move towards it. And if you need to wiggle around a little bit to release any releasable tensions, do that. Once you come back to breathing, see how your posture has changed, or rather where the sensation has changed. This pose provides a stretch around the chest. And the assistance of gravity gently draws the shoulders down and back behind you, so tension across your clavicles can be released. So allow yourself to be taken back into the bolster as your back heavies and wraps around it. As the back heavies and wraps, the chest and the clavicles open. feel this like little cords, little tiny cords of tension across the chest. I feel them get a stretch. So let it happen. Let gravity do its good work. Closing the eyes, sensing the breath working to release the inner body. My tendency is to overarch the low back here. And if you do that too, just see if you can relax in your low back so you can feel the lower back is able to release into the bolster, creating an opening for the low ribs, the chest and the collarbones, the shoulders and the neck. So you can deepen the breath and move towards the sensation. As you breathe in, encourage sensation in your body. And as you exhale, relax completely and allow gravity to take you. Okay, we're going to stay in the pose, but just remove the blanket behind your head and let the head fall back, and see how this small adjustment changes the sensation. You might want to wiggle a little bit to find comfort after the adjustment, and just turn your head a little side to side. For me, I am working today most likely to release tension in my chest. And I feel these tensions like thin threads around my heart that pull my shoulders forwards and create tension in my throat and basically wreak havoc in my upper back. And for some of us, we might say, well, this is kind of not giving me enough sensation, but we can always deepen the posture by breathing a little more and by encouraging a little more sensation. And as you breathe out, release as best you can. Allow the back to wrap around the bolster and create more opening in the front body. Notice the subtle shifts and changes in the pose as you settle more into your props and into your breath and into trusting gravity and into trusting the intelligence of the body. You know, my mind might tell me it's not enough, but my body says it's perfect. Notice again if you're overarching the low back, see if you can let that go. And begin to draw the breath through the belly all the way up to the clavicles. Maybe even exhaling out of the mouth a few times to encourage complete relaxation. So we're encouraging sensation as we breathe in, and we're growing the stretch or deepening the pose with the breath. on a very stiff, very sore day in my chest. I feel this right up through my collarbones and into my throat as I inhale. And I let the shoulders heavy as if there's sandbags on the fronts of the shoulders, pushing them to the earth as I exhale. As we hold the pose for quite a long time, the arms also start to feel the subtle, gentle stretch. And we can ask that the tension is released in the front of the body as we continue to exhale and let go. So from the outside it might not look like we're doing a lot, it might look like we're on a little holiday, which in a way we are, but inside with your eyes closed and working with your breath and sensation in the pose, we can be creating some really profound openings in the chest that prevent, these spasms in the upper back, or they do for me anyway. Keep asking the tension be released in the front of the body. And keep letting go as you exhale. Okay, yogis, we're going to stay in this pose, but we're going to gently lift the body up to seated and just turn and remove one of your blocks. So your bolster's only on one brick now. And come back down. And as we do this, the pose changes again. It's moving sensation into different areas of the throat and the chest. And as we continue to close the eyes and work with the breath and work with sensation, we might feel that. As we reposition, the back wraps over the bolster in a different way, feeling a little wider and a bit more plasticity in the back, which comes from the lengthy duration in which we hold this shape. Allow the sides of your neck to lengthen from the ears all the way into the clavicles. I can really sense how I tend to bury my neck into my shoulders a lot of the time at this point. And notice how sensation changes just because of one less block. Nestle your head into the support so you make sure you're not overstretching the back of your neck, and keep expanding the pose with the breath and by heavying through the shoulders. So I tend to spend time here because my body needs this posture. I carry a lot of tension in my chest, which creates havoc in my shoulders. This often happens for me after lots of time with my chest pitching forwards in day-to-day activities. So when we're leaning in, on the computer, on our phone, general sort of day-to-day things, housework, pushing, hoovers, trolleys, push chairs, all that kind of stuff. Driving, there's just everything keeps us pitched forwards a little bit. Keeps the arms pitching forwards. So we've got this counter pose happening now. And in the pose now, you might feel yourself getting drawn deeper and deeper into sensation. And really right now, time is not an issue. Let's just repeat that. Time is not an issue. My gosh, when we say that, we really are counterposing life. Time is not an issue. If I notice habitual tensions creeping in, the habitual tensions that I carry are not to allow gravity or to overarch my lower back or to wear my shoulders as earrings. I can notice that now because I've got the time to notice it and let it go. Let the shoulders fall backwards. Letting the shoulders fall back is unusual for us all and beautifully restorative. It's super nourishment. And the longer I stay, the more my shoulders let me in, the more my body lets me in, the more I feel the benefit of what is happening right now in this counter pose for life. And if we think this is indulgent, remember the hours we spend leaning forward, pitched forward, into the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So lovely to spend 20 or 30 minutes draping ourselves over a bolster, falling backwards. It's not that indulgent and probably not that bad an idea. And as I feel my shoulders release, my intercostals, so the muscles between my ribs, can stretch out. And I get this further stretch too along the sides of my neck, which is still participating in this dance of sensation and relaxation. And I really can allow my back to wrap around the bolster now. Really feeling the opposite stretch, the counter pose to life that I so need as a gift from this bolster. As we breathe in, we create sensation. As we breathe out, we release it. Keep letting go. Okay, lovelies. Let's gently take your time. Gently bring yourself out of the pose. Slowly coming up to seated. Take as much time as you need to do this. And take a few moments to gently turn around and move the last block. So move your block away so your bolster is flat to the floor. Now hold the block, take it with you as you lie down again over your bolster. But this time lift your hips and place your block underneath them. So we're lifting the hips and we're sort of resting the hips on the block so as to not overarch the lower back. So we're not working with bending the back, but rather opening the chest. And the sensation changes in intensity in a different way now. So let's stay with the breath and let the breath take you where your body needs to go today. You might want to wiggle a little here to find that comfortable space, and then heavying the body, let go. Just feeling all the subtle changes that come as you continue to breathe. Allow your exhale now to lengthen, to encourage more give in your body. So your exhale becomes a little longer than your inhale. This encourages the brain to give way to the intelligence of the body. And if you like, you can imagine the thin threads in the thin skin of the chest, like little strings, being finely tuned or letting go completely. And it might take a while for your body to adjust, but keep allowing the adjustments to come as you continue to let go. For me, this pose is super restorative for the shoulders, as my shoulders get a chance to return back home towards the body. And they start to nestle naturally towards the body. So it's like as your shoulders, the shoulder heads fall backwards, the shoulder blades come back into the body. And this creates a profound and subtle opening in the chest, right up into that pocket at the base of the throat. I can sometimes feel it. And I'm still noticing that I need to practice letting go of the lower back. No overarching here. Once I let go, the lower ribs can kind of settle in, and this alters the pose once again. And it's strange for me to feel as my ribs settle, so does the occiput at the base of the skull. And if you like, you could maybe test it out to take the block away from under your hips and see how it feels to let the hips descend. On a tight day, that doesn't feel good in my body. On an open day, it's okay. Most of the time I leave the block there, so I can really concentrate on the opening through the chest. Okay, lovelies, when you're ready, gently draw your elbows in towards one another. Lifting your head, bring yourself back to vertical reality in whatever way works. Slowly, slowly does it. We've spent an epic half an hour draping ourselves over that block. So let's take some time once we find vertical reality again to just sit and breathe deeply here. Just feel how your breath now counterposes life, how differently we breathe now. How much more room there is to breathe. This is exactly what most of us need. Okay, so now we're going to take the bolster out of the way completely. Grab 2 blocks and take supported fish. So we've got the blocks, for most of us, medium level behind the shoulder blades, and we're resting the head at the back of the skull with the block at the higher level. But if you're tight in your back or tight in your chest, you can always go down to a very low level, low behind the shoulder blades and medium behind the head. I'm bringing the soles of my feet to the mat and letting my knees knock in. On a tight day, on a more open day, I might bring my feet together and my knees go wide. And if my soles are on the mat, I can lift my hips a little and snuggle my shoulders into the support of the block. And then if I feel good here, and I'm feeling relatively open after that epic 20-minute stretch over the bolster, I might want to deepen the fish by taking the block behind my head down a notch to medium or even to low level, letting the head fall back and letting the throat open. But it all depends on the day, so do what works for you today. Find comfort on your blocks, lovelies, otherwise this whole practice will be not a counterpose to life, more a punishment of some weird sort. So find comfort. And breathe. And especially after all that time draped over the bolster, because we've already quite open, for me in this fish now, I feel this weird sense of my upper back having space. And my shoulders have this space that kind of draws them into this unknown cavern. This unknown cavern that happens when the chest lifts, when the heart is open. The shoulders draw into that little cave, this cave that is created behind me, so that my shoulders can nestle and my throat can open and gravity can take me. The feet and the elbows against the floor create a really lovely support. Again, I can resist my low back arching by gently lifting my hips and just making sure my low back has enough room. So the work is all around the shoulders, but when I say work, it's passive. There's no work, the work is to let go. So the shoulders are encouraged home towards the spine, and the chest and the clavicles can open and the breath can deepen. Keep releasing tension as best you can. Let the jaw relax and let the teeth fall apart. And because of the long hold over the bolster, this fish can dive deeper because the body has been given time or love enough to get into the pose. Encourage the sensation as you inhale and surrender everything as you exhale. Feeling how the blocks press into the dense trigger points around the base of the shoulder blades. And this is exactly what my body needs. love these long holds. I can't get enough of them sometimes because it really gives us time to kind of become the inner explorer of our body, what is going on inside there. And this really helps us to connect with the body, or come into union with the body, or come into yoga with the body. Okay, let's gently draw the elbows in, moving super slowly, lifting off of your block, as is your one, and find your way back to seated position. Go very, very slowly, very, very slowly. Take time to orientate yourself back to vertical reality. And just sit here for a few moments, feeling a release through the entire torso. Feel how your breath is counterposing life, the stuff of life. Feel how much room there is, how much space there is, how much time there is. How much love there is. Okay, let's turn around and come down onto the tummy and slowly come into Sphinx pose. And in your Sphinx pose, you can really feel the benefit of how those shoulders have come home now to the back. You might feel your shoulders miles more connected to your back than they usually do in this pose. Push your tailbone down towards your heels and feel your belly lengthen. And breathing deeply here. Okay, let's drop now to the chest and extend your right arm out at shoulder height with your palm down. Grab a block so you can use it as a pillow. So if you've just got up to get your block, I'm really sorry. So grab your block, extend your right arm out, palm down, and press into your left hand and just roll towards your right hip for a comfortable stretch here. After such a lengthy period of opening the chest, this might feel relatively gentle. For me, it's like just an opportunity to floss out the body after such long holds without losing the feeling of openness that the chest needs. So make sure your chin is tucked a little. Take a few breaths here. I'm not going to stay for very long. And then come back to center, roll out, and do exactly the same thing on the other side. Just a short little while on each side. Moving one way and the other just to counter all that stillness before we come back to it. Let's come back to center now. Gently press up so you're kneeling and grab a mat, or you could use a towel or a blanket even, and roll it up. I like a mat because it gives me a nice solid roll to lie over, but a towel or a blanket is fine. And once you've rolled your mat or whatever you're using up into a nice solid roll of about, 2 inches, something like that, place it horizontally and lie over it so it's underneath your shoulders, about at the point where your bra strap would lie. And for you guys, you'll just have to imagine that. But lie over your horizontal mat and just wiggle against it for a moment to find some sort of comfort. I mean, we want to be comfortable in these long holds, otherwise it's purgatory and not pleasant. So wiggle against your mat, find comfort, bring your head to the floor. If it's too intense to bring your head to the floor, you can bring your head to a block. And your arms can be in cactus position. You can have them stretched out to the sides or out and slightly up. Just move your arms to a position that feels good. Insofar as opening up your chest and armpits and just the areas of your body that you will feel need opening up and stretching out. Now lift your hips to just double check that your lower back is not overarching. And this ensures that your chest gets that big stretch that we're going for today. And your legs can be in whatever position feels good. And you might want to just gently roll your head a little, just check that you're not overarching the back of your neck as well. Find comfort on your blocks and your props, not your blocks maybe, and your roll. And let this be passive, gentle and easy. It's like a counter stretch for me. This is a counter stretch for my life. all the stuff that creates chest tension and muscle spasms in my shoulders start to open up. I like to open up the tightness around my armpits. This is really good preventative care for my upper body, hopefully for yours too. And the more my shoulders fall back, the more those thin threads across my chest can receive a beautiful stretch. This passive chest opening that we're doing today can feel weirdly invigorating. And the longer I stay, the more I feel an amazing stretch through my chest some days. My upper body needs this super restoration, counterposing my life and the tensions in my life. And hopefully you guys feel that too. Deepen your breath to deepen the pose. And as you exhale, completely, absolutely, utterly, beautifully let go. When you're ready, lovelies, gently start to draw your elbows together. And slowly bring yourself out of this in whatever way works for you. Stress slowly, go slowly with all of this. When you're ready, come back to vertical reality slowly. And just take a few moments here. Okay, we're going to grab a blanket now, roll the blanket, and make sure that it's long enough to go all the way along the length of your spine to the top of your head. I'm going to place that rolled up blanket all the way along the length of the spine to the top of the head and lie down over it. So the mat was horizontal, but this is on a vertical line along the spine. And once you find yourself lying down, you can gently grab the back of your blanket just behind your head, behind your neck, and bunch it up so it supports the back of the neck a little better, if that feels good for the body. And the arms and legs are in whatever position feels good for your body, and we're just lying down over this rolled up blanket or towel. And it might not feel like it's doing a lot. Sometimes with this pose I don't feel it so much until I come out of it and my back releases and I go, oh, that was amazing. So we're just taking a little pre-Shavasana. This isn't our Shavasana today, but it's, you can take it as that. So we get 2 Shavasanas in, double bubble, really counterposing busyness of life. Close your eyes and be with your breath. Letting go. When you're ready, lovelies, let's just gently roll off that blanket, move it to one side, and just lie flat for a few moments. Feeling the muscles either side of your spine that run down the back perpendicular to the spine. Feeling those muscles spreading against the floor now. Now make a wide T shape with your palms facing up. And lift your knees towards your chest. And slowly let them fall to the left. See if you can imagine like a heavy imaginary sandbag on your right shoulder. So your right shoulder stays sort of moving towards the floor so you can feel the stretch in the right chest. You can prop your knees if they don't want to come all the way to the floor. But we're looking to facilitate a stretch again in the chest by the pendulum of the knees moving down. Your head can come to wherever it wants to, and we just relax here. So this twist is stretching us from the clavicles into the chest and the armpit, along the arms, into the neck, the ribs. We're flossing out the body with the breath. And we're not so bothered about the legs coming to the floor. We're using the weight of the legs as like a counterweight to create stretch in the chest. This particular song really reminds me of a holiday that I once had. So we can imagine that we're on a holiday for a little while, which we are. That's what this practice gives us today, just time, space, stretch, counterposing the opposite of holiday, which is for most of us work of some sort or another. And for many of us, this work involves the pitching forwards of the body, the closing down of the chest and the heart. And so, this emergency practice works to reopen that space. And it's good preventative care against problems in the upper back. Just gently start to roll the head back to the center if it's not already there. And then one leg at a time, bring yourself back to center here. Take a moment. And now sandbag your left shoulder to the ground and let your knees fall to the right. And you can prop the knees if they don't come all the way down. And turn your gaze in any direction that works in this moment. And don't worry if it's asymmetrical. So sometimes my head will turn the same way on both sides because that's just what feels best in my body. Let your head go a-wandering now. Let the knees drop, the muscles and the tendons in the arm. Get to really floss out the thin strands or threads across the chest. Really get our attention today. Just relax here, take a little holiday. The inhalation encourages sensation, the exhalation encourages surrender and relaxation now. Gently turn your head, return your head to center if it's not already there. And then return your legs one at a time to center. And in your own good time, let's come into Shavasana. making sure that you'll be warm enough for the next 10 minutes or so. Once you find your Shavasana, you might want to gently press your head into the floor and just wiggle or snuggle your shoulder blades into that comfortable position. And you might want to press your feet into the floor, lift your hips and snuggle your buttocks, your sacrum, your low back into that comfortable position. You might want to check for tension or excess stretch in your neck by just taking a few head turns here. And then when you're ready, let yourself settle. You might feel yourself weirdly invigorated after so much front body opening. The thin cords of tension across the chest, once stretched, become alive and living, and you can let that energy settle now. As you lie here, you might feel the spread of the buttocks and the shoulders as unusually large. And that's good. You might feel the same way about the palms of your hands, or your face, or the soles of your feet, and that's good too. Everything has a little bit more space, everything widens and brightens. Let's check in with your jaw. If you need to, open your mouth, wiggle your jaw a little side to side, maybe even yawn. And let go. Allow gravity to settle your body. All of that energy that's been freed up can move towards a healing benefit in your body. And you can feel the entire back of the body moving closer to the spine. As we lie down, counterposing life in this corpse pose, Shavasana. The energy moves around the hips as the entire front body takes its cue from the chest to let go. The face, the lips, the forehead, the knees, the thighs, the shins, let go. As we counterpose life, we support life, we support our lives, we support our health. Life can weigh heavy on the back, but life doesn't just weigh heavy on us. the aliveness inside of us can get shut down by excess external stresses and tensions, the stuff of life, the stuff of work. As we release the back body from the burden of living, weirdly, life starts to flow through us from within, and we become alive. A strange juxtaposition, a strange counterpose. You might feel that now. As we release the stuff of life, the aliveness inside of us lights up. So as we release, we also receive. As we release the outside world, we receive from within, directly within us. And this is the counterpose that we've been looking for. This is the super nourishment that comes with a practice such as this. Okay, lovely. Let's start to deepen the breath. Taking your time. Bring the arms over the head. Press into the fingers and toes for a full body stretch. And then draw the knees in, stretching the back body that's had such a great rest and reset here. Slowly roll to one side, bringing anything that is of use to you back with you as you press up to seated position. Just taking a few moments, feeling your front body open and your back body settled. You might feel that aliveness inside of you really moving now. It's like we've had such a good sleep and we wake up very bright and alive. And you might feel that you want to double ground yourself at the conclusion of this practice, taking child's pose, but bringing it to the elbows today. So we take one forward-facing posture to seal everything in after such a profound opening for those like me who carry tension in the chest. Just taking a moment in this child's pose on the elbows, just feeling yourself grounding now, feeling the earth. Being thankful for our lives and being thankful for the counter pose, the practice. Let's bring ourselves up, back to seated, sitting on the heels. And we'll just take a few Oms here just to seal the practice in a little further, breathing in together. May we have health, which is wealth, and peace of mind, that is happiness. With so much love for this emergency practice. Namaste.